So I saw that there's a such thing as a Booktube NEWBIE Tag video. I just thought it'd be cool to go ahead and do one for my channel. So I'll get right into it. So why did I start this channel? Really, it came from the fact that I started writing a book and I wanted to document that process, or I guess my journey of doing that, to help hold myself accountable to finishing it. And also something that I can come back and watch like as time passes and cringe at my first videos, but also just to see the documentation of me and my journey in writing the first book that I plan to publish. I also don't have many friends that, well, I don't have any friends that read the genres that I read, so I thought it would be really cool to also do book reviews and just content around books on this channel in general to help build and keep my inspiration for reading alive, as well as just how cool it is to share the same hobby with other people in the book space, and we can just talk about books and geek out over stories and stuff that we like. So that's also another big reason why I decided to start this channel. What are some fun and unique things that I can bring to BookTube? My personality. I think everyone's perspective on things, especially their first reaction to a story or to a book, is unique in my opinion. So that. I also hope I inspire people to start their own channel or inspire people to read. Anything that could be good for someone, I hope my channel does that. I've seen other booktubers or just people that are really good at doing YouTube and creating content, and they've inspired me, just seeing how good they've become and how valuable I find their content that they produce, which makes it hard to answer this question, but I'll do my best to create content and just be my authentic self. What am I most excited for about this channel? I would say meeting new people in the book space, meeting other booktubers if I get the pleasure to do so, I think would be awesome. Again, just going back to being able to geek out and talk about books that we both enjoy, or just topics and ideas that we can both share. Also, I'm really excited to grow as a person as far as just overcoming any anxieties or fears I have about talking in front of a camera or just public speaking in general, talking to someone like you, and just growing in confidence overall and improving on speaking skills. Why do I love reading? In my opinion, reading stays with you more than any other form of media. I think the time you spend with the characters that are created and developed in a book, because you have to imagine the events and situations and transformations that they're going through, it really sinks deeper and becomes more memorable of an experience for you. At least for me, that's how it's always been. It feels more intimate to sit in a quiet room. I hear nothing but silence, and it's just me and a book, and I'm in the perspective or a point of view of a character, or maybe I'm just right there next to the character, going through their story, going through what's happening, the lessons they have to learn, and it just creates for a more memorable and intimate experience in my opinion. And that's what I love about reading, and just looking for the overall message that the book is trying to say. What book or series got me into reading? I'll try to be quick here, but I want to go back to when I was getting like $1, $2 allowance every week, and I would have to save up for 2 to 3 weeks in a row to be able to go to Hastings and buy the next Goosebump book. So that was really like my first series as a child that I just loved to read. I used to watch the show as well, and going into, as I got older, Magic Tree House, Bailey School Kids, the Bailey School Kids, Series of Unfortunate Events, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, any Lewis Satcher book. And then when I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I want to say I was in 5th grade. I completely bombed that test in the reading program that we had. I just remember failing it, and it kind of turned me off to reading in general. I think I wasn't really into the book for some reason. From there, moving into high school, I really didn't read much at all, unless it was required for school. In fact, I avoided reading altogether. I didn't really find any joy in it. Into my adult years, the only books I would read were nonfiction if I wanted to learn something or dive deeper into a certain topic. just self-improvement, things like that. That would be the only types of books I would pick up and read. And then after many years passing by, I read The Cursed City by C.L. Werner, which is a Warhammer 40k universe book, just based off of one of the board games that was created by Warhammer. And it was actually really good. I got into it. I don't think it was groundbreaking or anything. I really enjoyed it. And you would think that would have inspired me to read more books in that genre. And I remember wanting to. Like, I've always been a nerd. I've always loved fantasy and fantasy movies and just that realm of things. But just never thought to check out adult fantasy or any kind of fantasy when it came to reading. And then I started writing a book. And then as I started reading and learning more about like psychology and just looking into like personality types, which I'm not one to like box people into a personality type, I find it interesting. And looking up a certain kind of protagonist or character that matched a certain type, I came across the Kingkiller Chronicles, and that's what led me to read The Name of the Wind, which I did enjoy overall, and it just brought me here. You know, that in combination with writing a book itself just led me to reading more in general, and I'm so glad that I did, because I have been missing out. What questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? Off the top of my head, probably I would just ask them how long it took for them to feel comfortable or more confident doing YouTube, what their first fantasy novel was that they read, or maybe their first adult fantasy novel, also what series got them started. What challenges do I think starting a booktube channel will be the most difficult to overcome? I would say, I mean, of course, just getting comfortable and used to doing this, as well as not beating myself up for my videos not being perfect, or for, you know, things not turning out to be perfect. That can be a weakness of mine. When do I start reading? I start reading pretty much anytime. The moment it's slow at work, I'm opening up my book. At night, when I lay down for bed and I'm comfortable. As far as where I read, at work and at home. What kind of books do I like to read? I like to read nonfiction to learn new things and just expand my mind or self-improve as a person. And of course, I enjoy reading fantasy. I think they have valuable lessons in fantasy stories as well. I love seeing the different perspectives you can get, and lessons that they go through that they have to learn to improve, and as well as just entertainment overall. I love fantasy stories. I also want to get into sci-fi, so I plan to read Dune. I know that's like the big granddaddy of sci-fi. Also interested in the Sun Eater series and the Red Rising series, so I plan to start those eventually. We'll just see how soon. And of course, I enjoy literary fiction. I love reading the classics. I think they've stood the test of time for a reason. Maybe 1 or 2 classics a year will do for me. I find myself drawn to those books as well. What does my book collection look like? Pretty scattered. I have a couple bookshelves out in my living room, and then there's the bookshelf behind me that you see, and they're just kind of all over the place. I have books, you know, they're not organized or in any certain order or anything like that. So some books I have in here. Most of them are out in the living room, but yeah. So scattered. So that'll wrap up my newbie booktube tag video. Feel free to drop a comment, let me know what book or series got you into reading. I would love to hear it. And as well as any feedback you may have for me on how I can improve, or anything you feel like you can give me, any tips, I greatly appreciate as well, and I'll accept it with grace. I appreciate you being here, watching this video and sitting through it, and I wish you the best as always. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I feel like it should be a better way to say yo, or get started. Yo! Hello, I decided to do a Booktube NEWBIE Tag channel. An entire channel of Booktube NEWBIE Tags.